All right, well, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming. So to our friends and our family. First of all, to my parents, our two mums that are here. Thank you for all the support throughout all the years, and really appreciate everything you've done for us and for the business for the past 10 years. And even for our lives before that. So thank you very much. And to our friends that are here, school friends and longtime friends and life friends, thank you so much. You guys have always been there for us and stood by us through everything we've been through. I think you guys know probably more than what anyone else knows in terms of what it's taken to get to this stage. So thank you so much for coming here and being here. Obviously, thank you to all the team that are here and their partners. You guys contribute a lot to what we do as well, especially the partners. Like most of the weekends, your husbands or your wives or girlfriends or boyfriends are spending their time with me or with us, watching other people, share their love and all, doing all this stuff. So thank you for being so supportive of what they do as well, because it really does. Their contribution to Ferndara is really what it's all about for me. There is a few more things that I want to say, so I've actually written a speech.
Even you were writing a speech for our wedding.
Yeah. All right. This is not Jerry Springer. So. Calm down. But look, I've prepared a speech and I don't have a teleprompter, so I'm going to have to read from my phone a little bit. I was tempted to get up here and rattle off some jokes I've heard thousands of times at weddings. Maybe even start off with how I went to Google first before figuring out what to say, which is a classic intro to the best of wedding speeches. However, I thought it would be better to use this opportunity to reflect on the 10-year journey of Pandora, as it's not every day we are in a setting such as this to celebrate a milestone moment this pivotal for a business. And of course, although we listen to hundreds of wedding speeches, this event is in fact not a wedding. So I have to keep reminding myself that I'm actually not at a wedding, meant to be working, because it's really odd to be in this setting. The story of Pandora is one about the past, the present, and the future. I will make statements, I will tell stories, and most of all, I will share with you our undying vision that makes us who we are and ties all these statements and stories together. So the past. Going back to where it all started, 10 years ago, sitting with Charmika Pandora in my bedroom, after having had a dance practice session or filming our latest lame short film, I could tell you that we were humble and never thought that this day would come when we would be celebrating 10 years in business. However, I would be lying. We were idealistic, ambitious, brash, and had no doubt we could and would be successful. This, of course, didn't occur to us as clear as I'm alluding to you now. It was just a symptom of our excitement and inexperience that led us down this path of overconfidence. In hindsight though, this is exactly the kind of bravado that was needed to get Pandora off the ground. Because if it were to have been realistic, if we had for a moment assessed all the risks involved with our endeavor, it may have never seen the light of day. Maybe it was just our worldview back in 2009, but I don't recall it being acceptable for two South Asian boys to start a photography company after their parents had immigrated from Sri Lanka to Australia, worked very hard to put them through school and university with the hope of pursuing a professional career. Personally, at the time, my parents especially found it very difficult to understand this newfound interest in photography versus my growing lack of interest in finishing my law degree. So the die was cast. We had started Pandora, and from that moment we were free-falling into our new roles as photographers, and very little did we understand but also as business owners. Overnight, we were managing directors, CEOs, creative directors, art directors. In fact, whatever title we wanted to give ourselves, we could. It was like Fantasia, where nothing was impossible. We had nothing to show, of course. No work, no money, and no initial capital to begin with. But for all that was lacking, we had endless passion for what we were embarking on. The first few years, we were out there grinding away to get work. Our friendship circle was our greatest source of meaningful gigs. From birthday parties, nightclub events, concerts, and personal photo projects, we cut our teeth learning the trade thanks to the support of our friends and families. We eventually worked our way up to engagements and small wedding functions, which of course led us down to the path where we are now. The most important thing we focused on was building our portfolio, and nothing else mattered at the end of the day other than the work. Our work was what was going to allow us to build our business. I remember doing some events for nothing, doing more than we should for other events, and doing weddings for a few $100s. At this time, it was what it was. We were prepared to prove ourselves, and nothing else mattered. During this time, we would have our meetings, usually in my bedroom at my family home in Dandenong. We would plot how we could move forward, what we could do to become the best. In fact, I distinctly remember having the business card of what we had been told was the best wedding photographer in Australia pinned to a whiteboard with the goal of putting them out of business. Maybe a little drastic, but like I said, we were idealistic and ambitious. Slowly we were building momentum, and within the first few years we moved out of our bedrooms and set up a shared office in Lygon Street, Carlton. This was a defining moment for me personally, as I knew that it would be make or break from this moment on, and was something that had to happen if we were seriously pursuing our goals. Endless 24-hour working night and days, sleeping on floors and living dollar to dollar. Yes, all this happened, but it was fun. I wouldn't want to change any of that, because that is what prepared me for the challenges that inevitably would come our way. So before I move on to the present, I want to acknowledge the contribution made to Ferndara by all those of the past. There are many who are no longer a part of our team, whether they were photographers, videographers, and those within the management team that all shaped our identity, and for that I am forever grateful. I want to acknowledge Shevan Jaisingha, who started with Ferndara a few years after our founding, and was also involved in our management as a directing partner during his time with us. Today, Shev, within his own right, is a successful photographer. I will always be appreciative of his contribution to Pandora during those early years. And of course, I wouldn't be able to have made it this far without Charmika Bandara, who founded Ferndara with me. Although he has since moved on to pursuing his own successful interests 3 years ago, his dedication and the memories we fondly shared during this time at Ferndara will always be remembered and appreciated by myself and our company. I believe in strongly respecting the contributions made by everyone who has in the past worked with Ferndara, because during the time they were here, I remember, and I felt their support for the vision we strive for. The present. The present is of course today, but for me the present is 3 years ago, when I became the sole director of Ferndara. It never dawned on me that I would... Thank you. It never dawned on me that I would be at such a juncture, but there I was. The past 7 years had been like a whirlwind. So much had happened, so much had been achieved, yet much of it, almost all of it, was sitting in ruin. It was that elusive thing that I had never been able to pinpoint, that one thing I never understood, the thing which had been a constant part of Ferndara since we started, and a thing to this day remains our greatest challenge. Now you may be thinking, what is this elusive, profound part of Ferndara? Well, it isn't the best of us. It's actually the worst of us. But within it lies the greatest opportunity to attain something far greater than we set out to do. And that thing is failure. We had failed so much that it was no longer even something we identified with sometimes, but instead, it was something we felt always. It was a feeling of letting down the people around us, and it constantly manifested itself in the words of our customers' dissatisfaction with our service. Gone were the idealistic, ambitious, and invisible spirit of the past. Reality had sunk in. This was the real business, and we were knee-deep in trouble of our own doing. See, it wasn't our photography or videography work that was failing. The work was amazing. In fact, we were doing record number of weddings, hundreds every year, and demand was growing. Every year we improved our skills and got better at the art of what we do. So if the work wasn't failing, what was? It was the business itself. It had become a vessel without direction. We had forgotten that underpinning everything we do is a business that had lost its way, had no structure, no support networks for all those that relied on it. These failures had for years slowly rotted away at our foundation in the background, finally becoming our greatest weakness. The snowball effect from starting with blind passion and bravado had finally caught up to us. We were sinking in what we had created. From this, I learnt my greatest lesson, which was that failure is a constant part of business and that success is sometimes momentary. Let me explain. Many times we had overcome the greatest odds, from starting our business to dealing with changes in leadership to catastrophic mistakes we had made. In overcoming these types of hurdles, we had unknowingly succeeded each time, but never measured that success. We have in fact gone throughout our business without recognizing our successes. So over time, we had only ever learned to look at our faults, and the world only ever saw our weaknesses. It is this point between failure and success, and what we do between those two states, that was the most important part. This I identify as perseverance. It is our willingness to fight, to overcome the obstacles that lay before us, our ability to reach into the depths of our soul, to see that although we have made mistakes, the step of correcting it far outweighs its negative implications. Our success was born out of the ability to persevere. This is what I had been made prepared for all those years working at Pandora. I have now meticulously for 3 years worked on improving our business. We have strategically overhauled the remnants of our failure and implemented the lessons learned from the past. From interacting with our amazing customers, our internal management services, and interactions with everyone that works within Ferndara, it has been the most rewarding part of my journey. I firmly believe we have gained more because of this, and the value that it brings to our business is immeasurable. All of this was possible because of my greatest strength, my wife Rukshan Fernando. Shani has been instrumental in our business since the very beginning, but in the last 3 years, she has been our X factor. From leaving her job in the corporate world to get on board at Ferndara during the most difficult time for me 3 years ago, the depth of gratitude I have, as does Ferndara, cannot be put into words. She overhauled our entire customer service experience. And I know, speaking on behalf of many of our amazing customers, they were very grateful for the work she does. Although she's always had an opinion on what we do creatively and has always been involved in being one of our greatest critics, she has come into her own as a videographer over the past 3 years. I'm constantly amazed at the work she is doing, all self-taught. Whether it be filming or editing, her talent is incredible. So thank you, Rukshani. You are the embodiment of perseverance at Ferndara. All right, the future. Well, here we are, 10 years. The future is now. The future is everyone here. The future are our couples of the past, today and tomorrow. We have done thousands of weddings all around Australia and the world. We work with cultures from every corner of the world and have been privileged to share in their unique interpretations of love and marriage. We continue to grow and adapt to a fast-growing industry, and from humble beginnings with an idea in a bedroom, we have turned ourselves into a multi-million-dollar venture with a studio in North Melbourne. It is fair to say that the next 10 years will bring even greater challenges, and I personally cannot wait to meet them, and meet them with the help of all of you in this room today. I want to thank everyone that works tirelessly with Ferndara. The team here is what makes Ferndara so unique. I have always pushed the team because I believe that is our difference. That is what we bring to the table in this industry, and that's different from what many others do. Without your talent, your skill, hard work and dedication, we are not the same. I'm immensely proud of the people I work with, and I know they are the best at what they do. I tell couples all the time when they ask me about who is working at their wedding, I tell them they are the best. They are the most talented people. Otherwise, they would not be working at Pandora. Our journey together may be short or it may be long. As you have heard, many have come before you and gone on to do amazing things. Regardless of that, the time we do work together, I know every one of you is dedicated to our vision. To our beautiful couples that entrust us to capture their wedding, you are the reason we do what we do. For that brief moment in your life, we are invited in to document a part of your journey for eternity. We are forever grateful that you have placed your trust in us. Know that above anything else, our core commitment is to you. We are always working on new ways to bring amazing experiences and ways of presenting your memories. We will always endeavor to be the best so that your choice is the best. So thank you again to the hundreds of couples each year that define Ferndara. And finally, at the beginning that I said that I pinned the business card of one of the best photographers in Australia that I wanted to put out of business. You might be wondering if they're still in business. Well, the truth is they are. See, I have a greater understanding of what it is like to aspire to be a leader within an industry and run a business. It's all relative. I will be happy to know that maybe out there is someone plotting a new business venture and they have stuck a Ferndara business card on their whiteboard. Thank you, and that's it. Thank you, everyone.